Hi, I'm JJ Barnes, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Yes, it is.
And you're watching another episode of Writing Advice with JJ and Jonathan. Today we're going to be talking to you about a trope in stories that is, I think, loved for the most part.
Okay.
And it is enemies to friends or enemies to lovers.
Right. Ooh.
So, examples of this in popular fiction would be, a good clear one would be Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Because Belle and the Beast start out, well, Belle particularly starts out hating him because he kidnapped her father, etc.
Reasonable, I'd say.
He's a big, controlling, scary monster, and then they fall in love.
Which is lovely.
You've got Mail, because Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks...
the same thing, isn't it?
It's the same sort of thing. He starts out trying to take over her business. He's Fox Books, and
the shop belonged to her mother as well.
Yeah, she had her little
so there's
bookshop.
still the kind of parent...
Yeah. And he was trying to take it over, and she hated him, and so he manipulated her through emails pretending to be somebody else, and they fell in love. What are some other good ones? How to Lose a Guy... what?
I was just saying, what a gentleman.
Yeah, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So, Kate What's-Her-Face and Matthew McConaughey.
Never seen it.
They start out with a bet, like who can, make the other one whatever, and they end up falling in love.
Make the other one whatever.
Like fall in love, have sex, whatever. What other ones?
Trading Places.
Trading Places.
You've got Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are pitted against each other by Duke and Duke.
And they become friends.
They
fall
do.
in love.
They do not fall in love.
They become friends.
But that would have been fine. They become friends and they work together to defeat Duke and Duke.
Exactly. So
fun.
it's, we're just giving a few. Jon Snow and Ygritte in...
Yeah, nothing Jon Snow.
Nothing Jon Snow.
Yeah.
She starts out sort of dragging him around from the crow.
She's one of the...
Wildlings.
Wildlings.
And then they fall in love.
It's been a while since we watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do fall in love and they make...
Sweet love.
Sweet things.
But yeah, it is. I've done it because in Magic Rabbit, Lily Prosper and the Magic Rabbit, my first book, Saffron and Lily start out enemies and then they become really good friends.
Yes, they do.
And it's a really good trope, actually. Yeah. I'm a fan of it. As I say, I've done it and I like it. Even though I think when it's enemies to lovers, I think it can be predictable.
Yeah.
It can be, because if you've got two characters who are equal levels of attractive and there's obviously passion between them, negative at first,
right,
but there's obviously a passionate response to one another, I think it's quite easy to predict that is going to flip-flop.
Yeah, in Calamity Jane.
Yeah.
Calamity Jane and Wild Bill
Hickok.
They start out singing about how much they hate I could do without you.
I could do without you.
And then by the end they're getting married.
Yeah. So it is predictable, which is a bad thing, because you don't want to be too predictable, because then why bother reading or watching your story?
Sure. Is Much Ado About Nothing essentially this as well? I don't know. Probably. We should mention it if it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't want to be predictable, but if it is hundreds of years old as a tradition...
Maybe tradition is better than trope for this. But the point is...
I think trope always has negative connotations.
Yeah, and as I say, it
doesn't have to.
It's almost a negative, because predictable isn't good, but then there is something comforting, I think. Sometimes. Yeah. About... When everything else in your story...
Buffy and Spike.
Yeah.
Pretty classic.
But everything else in your story can be not predictable. And there can be all these things going on that your audience won't know what's coming, and it can be stressful for them. If you have this trope in it, where you're like, you know that eventually those people are going to couple up to fight against, even if it's friends or lovers or just teammates. Like, it could be, cops who don't like each other and they start working together.
Yeah, it's essentially it's teasing that there's going to be some gratification later.
Yeah,
right?
Because when they do, even though you know it's coming, when they do eventually start working together, when they do become friends or lovers or teammates or whatever it is that these people who start out your story hating each other, there is a very like satisfying, like, yes, now I'm going to see them achieve the best they can achieve, or get the happiness they wanted, or something that those people needed in their lives that they wouldn't acknowledge was going to come from the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And they get it, and you can kind of feel like ahead of the game then. You knew that was going to happen, so the audience is sort of like, I'm a bit ahead of my characters. I feel...
And this is with regards to trying to avoid negative predictability.
Yeah.
And turn it and spin it into
And
almost a positive.
If you have this trope in a book full of hundreds of tropes, where nothing is original, and it's all been done before, and it's all predictable, so there is nothing in that story that you're telling where you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or that's an interesting plot twist. If everything that happens is just the rehashing of something that has been done again and again and again and again and again, then this trope would get lost in amongst it and just be, alright, I knew that was coming. But if you have it in a story which isn't completely predictable, where there is things going on to intrigue or excite or energize your audience because they're thinking like, oh, what's going to happen? I think it can be, a almost comfort of excitement that it's going to come and you're going to get to see that.
Like when you
Hermione doll is up there. Rose's Hermione doll up there. When they start Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Rose was thrilled when Hermione became their friend because she was like, she liked Hermione, and she's like, good, like,
right.
They become friends.
When you're cooking your dinner, if it smells incredible, what that is it's promised that it's going to taste incredible.
Yeah.
So I suppose what you're saying is that if you are going to tell your reader what they're having for dinner, then you can at least let them smell it so they can't wait to eat it.
But if it's the same dinner you've had night after night after night after night, even if it smells incredible, you're going to be bored because you've had it 1,000 times already. But if one little bit of that dinner is something that you know is amazing, but everything else is a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
Exactly.
There's a nice cooking there.
It is a good cooking metaphor, and I got to be all mysterious. But the point is,
mysterious.
That is my mysterious fingers.
Okay, good.
What?
Nothing.
It's mysterious. Shut up.
Fill your boots
with mysterious fingers.
Mystery. What's she gonna do with those fingers? So, blur.
Yeah, but basically, I am a particular fan of this trope, and I do enjoy it.
Do you think it is often found in the rom-com then?
Yes, I think.
So,
because, for a reason, right, think about 10 Things I Hate About You.
I can't, I haven't seen it before. Is that so wild?
Yes.
Why?
God, it's amazing.
I'm not particularly rom-com savvy, so I can't. Tell me about 10 Things I Hate About You. Or
Okay, so, right, 10 Things I Hate About You. You've got to have conflict in a rom-com. And it's not just a rom-com, 10 Things I Hate About You. It's, it's a teen drama, etc. You've got to have conflict. If your characters who are your romantic couple meet and fall in love,
the end.
The conflict has to come from somewhere else.
Okay.
Something that's forcing them not to be together.
So is it then that either the male member, if we're going hetero, is kind of a sleaze sometimes?
It could be, the bad boy who has to sort of learn to be a good person.
Yeah.
That is a popular trope for
Or
rom-coms.
that the eventual romantic destination for the female character in the arms of some guy is sort of saintly and bland and imprintable, and there's someone else like a Hugh Grant and Bridget Jones standing in the way. Who presents as the
love interest.
but isn't actually.
I think, you either have your couple who won't get together because they're butting heads and don't see that they're the one for each other, Or you have external conflict that coming between them and stopping them get together
That's-
even though they want to.
I have to move to Paris to work in Paris, and I
Yeah.
don't want to leave New York. So.
Exactly. But in 10 Things I Hate About You, Julia Stiles' character and Heath Ledger's characters, they start out hating you, which is why Julia Stiles then does the "I hate your stupid combat boots and the way you do your hair." Oh, of course you don't. Oh.
I assume that the way he does his hair is terrible and that the combat boots are unforgivable.
But the point is, she starts out hating everything about him, but then she ends the poem with, most of all, I hate that I don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. It's very moving because she falls in love with him, and she starts out hating him, but if
What
they
about his
hadn't...
combat boots?
Well, she then still loves them.
Oh, right, good.
Point is, they start out hating each other, and they stop because they fall in love, and it works really well if you do it well.
Okay, so where's the advice?
The advice is, my advice to you is, if you want to do this trope, don't make that trope the only thing you have going for your book.
I would say, my piece on
Or
this is,
film.
don't think of it as a trope at all. Think of it as characters who are, at the beginning, not connected for whatever reason, and through the various obstacles you're going to throw at them in this story, that they find out that there is kinship between them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Rather than
exactly.
A trope, 'cause
If you...
trope's not a helpful word, is it, to apply to your writing?
Well, it depends if you're using a trope.
Fair
I mean, a trope is just something that has been done before, but you can still do it, because
Okay.
most things have been done before, but it's how you do it.
Sure.
And this particular
Fair
trope is one I like. I don't like the bad boy with the heart of gold. The abusive partner, the abusive boyfriend who's like vile to his girlfriend and creepy, but then they're like...
It's usually that he lies to her throughout the story, gets found out, she's horrified, he mopes around for a bit and then...
Makes it up to her.
Makes it up to her.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's kind of...
You see, I'm not a
gross.
fan of that.
But you do like Cruel Intentions, though.
Yeah, but I think that's almost nostalgia for me because I was obsessed when I was young and not very mentally healthy.
And good soundtrack.
Good soundtrack.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you're going to use this trope, which, as I say, I like it a lot, so I'm not in any way saying don't, but I am saying accept that people will know it's coming. Like when we did the Death of the Mentor video, people will know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do it, and you can still do it well. That's another one I've done.
Yeah,
You know, you can still do it well, and you can still make people enjoy it. But if you just have that as one of thousands of just predictable things in your story...
This one's for you, Cherokee Jack.
Exactly. Right? It only works if it is part of...
Humans, like human characters, in pursuit of their goals,
Yeah.
changing, growing as they go,
And I do. I really like it. I like the idea because people, I think, can be just... It's real to me that you can meet someone and be like, well, they're a bit of a knob. But for
Sure.
whatever reason, they're going through something, you're going through something. You start to realise that actually you're going through the same thing, you're handling it differently, and you come out together at the end of it stronger for your understanding of one another. And that's a good thing. And I like that in a story. But yes, if you have it as just part of thousands of tropes, you don't. It's bad. It's boring. So that would be my advice.
Cool.
Thank you very much for watching. If you have any examples that have really worked for you or you really hate for any reason, comment down below and we'll do a video about them and why they either do or do not work and our take on it. Thank you very much for watching our video about enemies to friends or lovers. We will be back soon, and if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be amazing. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.